Hi. I have been asked a ton to share about my experience with some of the indigestion issues I've had, stomach issues, bowel issues that I've had over the years. So I have always gone back to kind of a live video I did on my fitness page. And so since that is super old, I thought I would create a new video and just upload it to like a private YouTube channel, and then I can share it with people. So this is for you because you indicated at some point when we've talked that you've had issues. So let me give you a little background on me. So when my daughter was born, I did not nurse her out of I didn't really want to, and it just wasn't for me, and that's okay. And within 2 weeks she had blood in her stools. I took her to the doctor, and the doctor told me that she had a milk protein intolerance. So at the time we had to put her on Nutramigen, which is a very, very, very expensive formula. She also had severe acid reflux, and so we were spending over $500 a month, $500, just to feed our newborn daughter. It was past the point of me being able to try to nurse her, and plus me trying to cut dairy completely out of my diet, and whether it would have helped at all, who knows. So we went with the Nutramigen. Cost me more to feed my newborn daughter than it did to feed the other three of us, and it worked. Her acid reflux was under control, her Nutramigen was working, but let me tell you, she was still spitting up, smelled nasty, it was super expensive, and I was getting my hair done, and one of my hairdresser was, or cosmetologist, whatever, was telling me that her daughter had severe eczema, and she took her to a witch doctor in Orange City, Iowa. And I was like, whatever. And she goes, no, seriously, it cost me $60. I drove down there, they treated her, and her eczema like went away within 2 days. And keep in mind, her daughter was just a few months older than mine. I was like, you know what? I'm only like an hour from there. Give me her name and number. I mean, it's worth it, right? Just try it once. So I took Tenley down to, after doing a ton of research on this, it's like Neuronthopons Allergy Elimination Technique Therapies or something like that. I carry the book in my car because I see her now too. Neuronthopons Allergy Elimination Techniques. NAET. So I took my daughter down there and they treated her. I had to hold on to her, so she treated her through me, which is the strangest thing. I laid back on like a massage bed with my arm straight in the air and held vials of different things, and as she, like the different things I was holding, Tenley was just in the room, so keep in mind I'm treating Tenley, my daughter, not me, and she has my arm up in the air. This is really hard to do holding a phone, and she's pushing on my arm. So as I'm holding these vials like next to my chest, and if my arm moves a ton, it means my body was weak. Technically, she's treating for Tenley, so Tenley's body was weak in those things. And if my arm was like stable and like didn't move, now keep in mind I just held it there, so I didn't do more or less, that means it was strong. And keep in mind, I just told her my daughter was having issues, and I did not specify that, like exactly what the issues were. And when we were done with everything, she said, your daughter has like an issue with casein and dairy, which casein is a part of dairy. I said, okay, that's exactly what the doctor told me. So she's on this Nutramigen. She said, here, put the formula you want her to drink in a vial, a glass little vial that she gave me, put it in her sock, and feed her the rest, like her Nutramigen, for the next 25 hours. Keep in mind, she was only like 2 months old at this time. Still thought she was crazy, paid her $60, did it anyway. And she said, as now with any formula, just start to introduce it back into like the formula you want. back into her life. Kid you not. I did it very slowly because I was nervous, right, to have more issues. But within like 2 weeks, Tenley was completely off the Nutrition. Okay? So then fast forward like a year, she starts to get eczema spots. I end up taking her back. They retested her. We retreated her for the same thing. She eliminated whatever was causing issues for 25 hours. Her eczema was gone in 2 days. She has never had eczema again. Okay? So here's my story. 5 minutes and you finally get to hear about me. So I woke up one morning and I just felt icky. I felt nauseous. I felt like I was pregnant. I was bloated. Just like all of the things of the worst, like morning sickness without puking ever. And it would not go away. I was fatigued. I like felt so gross. Obviously we took a pregnancy test and we weren't planning to have more children. So I was praying it wasn't positive, but at least if it was, then at least I had an answer. And this went on for about a week. And so I went to the doctor and they did a slew of tests because of course I didn't even know where to start because I had nausea, indigestion. I was first of all constipated, then had diarrhea, like just all of the things were jacked up. I had massive headaches. And so they did blood, urine, and stool samples. It all came back inconclusive. All of it. Everything was normal. Like, I was floored. I was like, okay, well now how many thousands of dollars did I spend doing that? So then they said, it could be your gallbladder. So let's do an ultrasound. So back to the doctor, did an ultrasound of my gallbladder. Gallbladder's fine. They're like, well, it could still show fine on the ultrasound, but you may need to do like a HIDA scan, which will, I can't remember exactly, but they like hooked me up to like an IV and did all the things in like some big trailer outside the clinic. So I did that HIDA scan, and again, my gallbladder came back perfect. Just fine. I was like praying there was something wrong with my gallbladder so that I could feel normal again. So after that, they said, well, you may have celiacs. I mean, the only way to determine that for sure is for you to go under and do an endoscopy. And we'll go in and we'll do whatever testing they do. I'm like, okay. So they did that. No answers. I have never been so frustrated in my entire life. Like, it almost makes me want to cry thinking about it. The bills were coming in. It was $20,000 in testing. My husband was going to be leaving on a snowmobiling trip for like 4 days, and here I was stuck at home with a 2-year-old and a 6-year-old for a week. And I, to the point, started having like panic attacks. I had to the point where like I had heartburn so bad that it like hurt physically on the outside of my body that I needed to put like not preparation H, I can't remember what the hell it was called, but it was like a numbing cream like on the outside. It's like icy hot almost on the outside of my chest to try and help with it. I felt awful. Like, I tried the chiropractor. I did not try acupuncture. It was probably the only thing I didn't try. I tried not eating. I dropped, like 15 pounds really quickly because I couldn't eat because everything just made me sick. And I ended up thinking, like, why do I keep going to the doctor? So what I did was I ended up scheduling an appointment with this quote-unquote witch doctor that helped my daughter a few years prior. And again, I'm kicking myself in the ass for not doing this sooner. But I went down to Orange City. I scheduled myself an appointment. I went down there and she treated me for a Candida overgrowth, which if you do your research, look it up, it causes all of those symptoms. And what happens is you crave carbs and sugar and all of the things that cause a yeast overgrowth. And then the sugar's fueling the yeast. And all of these issues are coming up and you have no idea what's going on. So she treated me. Again, she tested me just like she tested me with my daughter. And it sounds super witch doctory. I kid you not, in 2 days. 2 freaking days, I felt 110,000% better. I had energy. I had no acid reflux. Everything flushed itself out of my system. I felt amazing. Then, about a year later, I went to the dermatologist, just for an annual checkup, and I had acne all over my back. Now, keep in mind, I've been on my fitness journey for 5 years now. So at this point, it had been 3 years, and I had acne as a full-grown adult, and it was embarrassing. And I did not work this hard to lose 40 pounds to not show off my skin. And I was embarrassed, and it was gross, and nothing helped. So he told me I needed to shower right after workouts, which I was already doing. He prescribed this Panaxol, which is a very drying out body wash. It didn't work. Then he told me to come back in, and he actually scraped open one of the pimples, and he had it tested, and it came back as yeast. So he said, what I will have you do is I will have to prescribe you an antibiotic, and that should clear it up. Finish the 10-day round of antibiotics, no changes whatsoever. I still had the acne all over. So once again, when modern medicine ceases to fix anything, I went back to Orange City and went back to my witch doctor, the NAET lady, and within 2 days of her basically treating me for Candida Overgrowth again, I was cured. The acne disappeared. So I have gone back a few other times, probably once a year now at this point, just kind of to get a refresh. And it's again an hour and a half from Sioux Falls, South Dakota. There are more local ones in other places. You can look it up on their website to find local ones. Other people do muscle testing, just not through NAET, but you can also look up or ask for other people that do muscle testing. A lot of chiropractors will do it. They'll also help you with acupuncture. But I just really wanted to tell you about my experience with someone that does NAET. Because now, instead of going to the normal doctor, I go to her for things like that. And she has treated me for multiple things throughout the years. I came back from Mexico one time, and I felt so sick while I was down there. It turns out all I was drinking were sugary drinks. And come to realize my body just does not metabolize alcohol well. And so I've stopped drinking completely 2.5 years ago, or over 2 years ago. I have had way less issues. So yeah, I don't know what else to tell you, but I would definitely check that out. If you have more questions, please feel free to reach out to me, because I will tell you that that lady saved my life, and also definitely saved my daughter's, because it saved my sanity, it saved me a crap ton of money. I would trust her with almost anything or everyone I have ever known. So she has people that drive from the Twin Cities, which is a good 4 or 5 hours. They will spend the weekend there just so they can see her multiple days in a row. She shows you how to treat yourself. It seriously is witch doctor. That's how I describe her. But I say it with the most endearing tone ever, because she flat out saved my life. So if you have any questions, let me know. But there's your 15-minute story about my daughter and myself and how that really helped.